Hey, I'm Emma. Welcome to Revenge Pulse, where every story hits different. Hit subscribe and let's dive in. The Sunday dinner table was covered with Mom's famous lasagna, garlic bread, and the kind of chaos that came standard with the Martinez family. My sister Gabriela was showing everyone her new engagement ring for the third time that evening, tilting her hand to catch the light. My brother Derek was arguing with Dad about the best route to the airport. Mom was orchestrating everything from her position at the head of the table like a conductor leading an orchestra. I waited for a pause in the conversation. There wasn't one. So, I said, raising my voice slightly, I got some news this week. Gabriela didn't look up from her phone. She was already posting another ring photo to Instagram. Derek kept talking about traffic patterns. Mom was checking something on her tablet. I was promoted to Senior Solutions Architect. I continued. It's a huge jump. I'll be leading the entire West Coast division for the firm. MMH. Mom said absently, scrolling. That's nice, honey, Dad muttered, still focused on Derek. Take the 405, I'm telling you. The 101 is a nightmare on Sundays. I sat there with my fork suspended over my plate, waiting for someone to ask a follow-up question. Anything. What does the promotion mean? How much more responsibility? Was I excited? Instead, Gabriela gasped. Oh my God, Jessica just commented on my ring. She said it's stunning. Let me see, Mom said immediately, reaching for Gabriela's phone. I looked down at my lasagna. The cheese had congealed slightly, forming an oily film on top. I pushed it around my plate and said nothing else for the rest of dinner. This wasn't new. This was the pattern. When I was 12, I won the regional science fair. I came home bursting with excitement, holding my blue ribbon and a certificate that said First Place Advanced Division. I found Mom in the kitchen with Gabriela, who was crying because she didn't make the cheerleading squad. Mom, I won. First place in the whole region. That's great. Maya Gabriela sweetie. There's always next year. You're so talented. When I graduated summa cum laude from Berkeley at 21, the family dinner conversation centered entirely on Derek S.'s decision to drop out of community college to pursue entrepreneurship. Nobody asked about my honors thesis. Nobody wanted to see my chords, or still, when I got my first major client at 24, a tech company worth $2 billion, I called home excited. That? Answer, Dad. I just closed the biggest deal of my career. That's good, Maya. Hey, can you talk to your brother? He needs some advice about his new business idea. I spent 30 minutes on the phone listening to Derek explained his plan to start a craft beer delivery service, which would fail within 6 months, like all his other ventures. The pattern was clear. Gabriela was the princess. Derek was the one who needed support. And I was background noise. The responsible one who didn't need attention because I had everything figured out. After that Sunday dinner, I sat in my car in their driveway for 10 minutes before driving back to my apartment. I looked at my phone. 0 texts about the promotion. 0 calls. 0 calls. I opened the family group chat and scrolled up. The last message was from 3 days ago, Mom, asking if anyone could help Derek move some furniture. I typed out a message. Just wanted to mention again that I got promoted to Senior Solutions Architect. It's a really big deal for my career. I stared at it for a long moment, then deleted it without sending. What was the point? 2.5 years later, I stood in my new loft in downtown Seattle, watching the sun set over Elliott Bay. The 1,800 square foot space had floor-to-ceiling windows, exposed brick walls, and gleaming hardwood floors. My phone buzzed. It was Marcos, my boyfriend of 8 months. Still on for dinner tonight? His text read, absolutely. Come over around 7. Can't wait to see the place with furniture finally. I smiled and looked around. The movers had finished yesterday, and I'd spent the entire weekend unpacking and arranging. My mid-century modern couch faced the windows. My vintage Persian rug anchored the living area. The open kitchen gleamed with new stainless steel appliances and white marble countertops. I'd bought this place, without telling my family I was even looking. Without asking for their opinion on neighborhoods or interest rates or whether it was too much space for one person. I'd done it completely independently. with money I'd saved and invested carefully over the years. The promotion I'd mentioned at that disastrous Sunday dinner, it came with a $185,000 salary. The one after that bumped me to $220,000. Now, as VP of Solutions Architecture for the entire Pacific Northwest, I made $290,000 plus bonuses. My family had no idea. After that dinner, I'd gradually reduced contact. I stopped going to every Sunday meal. I'd show up once a month, maybe less. I stopped sharing news about my career. When they asked what I was up to, I said same old stuff and changed the subject. They never pressed for details. They never seemed to notice I was pulling away. My life had become full in ways that had nothing to do with them. I had Marcus, who was a cardiologist at Swedish Medical Center and actually listened when I talked about my work. I had my mentor, Patricia Chun, who'd taken me under her wing 5 years ago and taught me everything about navigating corporate architecture. Patricia had told me something crucial 2 years ago over coffee. You keep waiting for them to see you. Maya, stop waiting. Build your life for yourself. So I did. I moved from my one-bedroom rental in Capitol Hill to this loft. I drove a leased BMW 5 Series. I traveled Paris last spring, Tokyo in the fall. I invested in index funds and had a retirement account that would have made my 22-year-old self weep with joy. And my family knew none of it. My cousin Rachel knew I'd moved to a new place. She lived in Seattle too, and we got coffee occasionally, but I'd been vague about the details. Just upgrade it to something with better light, I'd said. The intercom buzzed. Marcus, come on up, I said, pressing the button. When he walked in, carrying flowers and wine, his eyes widened. Maya, this place is incredible. You like it? Like it. This is a palace. He walked to the windows, taking in the view of the water, the ferries crossing the Sound, the mountains in the distance. The photos didn't do it justice. We cooked dinner together. Marcus made his famous chicken piccata, while I prepared a salad. We ate on my new dining table, drank wine, and talked about our weeks. He told me about a complicated surgery. I told him about landing a new client worth $15 million annually. Your family must be so proud, he said. I took a sip of wine. They don't know about the client, about any of it. The promotions, the salary, this place, nothing. Marcus set down his fork. You haven't told them? Why would I? They've never cared before. He reached across the table and took my hand. That's their loss, Maya. You've built something incredible. Later, after he left, I posted a photo on Instagram. Just a simple shot of my living room at sunset, the city lights starting to twinkle outside the windows. I captioned it, "Home sweet." Home. I didn't think much of it. The next morning, I was at my desk reviewing architectural plans for a new client when my phone started vibrating. A text from Dad. We need to talk about helping your brother. I stared at the message. I hadn't heard from Dad in 6 weeks. Before I could process it, another text came through. Mom, this time. Maya, why didn't you tell us you moved? Your cousin showed us the most beautiful loft. Then Gabriella. Oh my God, your place is gorgeous. When can I visit? Then Derek. Nice place. Sis. I opened Instagram. Rachel had reposted my photos to her story, tagging me and adding, my cousin's amazing new place. So proud of you at Mayo Martinez. My stomach dropped. Over the next hour, I received 12 more messages. Aunt Carmen, Uncle Roberto, my grandmother, second cousins I hadn't spoken to in years. Everyone suddenly wanted to know about my beautiful new home. Not one of them mentioned my career. Not one asked how I could afford it. They just wanted to talk about the loft. By lunchtime, Mom had called 3 times. I didn't answer. She left voicemails. Maya, honey, call me back. We need to talk about this beautiful place you're living in. Why didn't you tell us? We're family. Patricia stopped by my office around 2 p.m. She took one look at my face and closed the door. What happened? I showed her my phone, the flood of messages still coming in. Patricia had been my mentor since I was 25. When she was the chief innovation officer and I was a junior architect, she'd seen me through breakups, career doubts, and countless family disappointments. She was 62, Chinese American, brilliant, and had zero tolerance for nonsense. She scrolled through the messages with an expression I couldn't read. "Let me guess," she said finally. "They haven't contacted you in weeks. Months, maybe, and now suddenly they're all very interested in your life." My cousin posted a photo of my place. I didn't even think about it. "And they've already started making asks." She pointed at Dad's message about Derek. That was the first text I got. Patricia handed back my phone. "Don't respond yet. Wait. See what they really want? I already know what they want. Then let them show their hand completely. Document everything." I nodded slowly. Patricia had dealt with her own difficult family. She understood. By 6 p.m., the messages had evolved. Mom texted, "Your father and I would love to come visit this weekend. See your new place? We could bring brunch. Gabriella, can I stay with you next month when I come to Seattle for a bachelorette party? You have so much room." Derek, "Hey, can we talk? I have a business opportunity I want to run by you." I recognized this pattern too. The sudden interest, the manufactured affection. The setup before the ask. I didn't respond to any of them. On Thursday, 3 days after the Instagram post, my parents showed up at my building. The front desk called up, "Ms. Martinez, you have visitors. Robert and Elena Martinez." My heart sank. I didn't know they were coming. Should I send them up? I closed my eyes. Give me 5 minutes, then yes. I called Patricia. "My parents are here. They drove 3 hours without telling me they were coming. Do you want them in your space?" "No." "Then, meet them in the lobby. Your home is your sanctuary. Don't let them in if you don't want them there." She was right. I grabbed my keys and went downstairs. Mom and Dad were standing in the modern lobby, looking around at the contemporary art on the walls and the concierge desk. Mom was holding a cake carrier. "Surprise!" "Please," Mom said when she saw me, opening her arms for a hug. I didn't move forward. "You drove here without calling? We wanted to surprise you. See your beautiful new home." She thrust the cake carrier at me. "I made your favorite, red velvet." Red velvet was Gabriella's favorite, not mine. But this wasn't the time. "Why are you really here, Primera?" asked if. Dad shifted uncomfortably. "Can't parents visit their daughter? You haven't visited me once in the 3 years I've lived in Seattle. You didn't come when I moved into my last apartment. You didn't come for my birthday. So why now?" Mom's smile faltered. "Maya, don't be cold. We wanted to see your loft. Rachel showed us the photos and it looks so beautiful. We're proud of you." "Proud of what, exactly?" "Of your success, your beautiful home." "What do you know about my success?" Mom blinked. "Well, ... You have this lovely loft, ... How do you think I afforded it?" Silence. "Do you know what I do for a living?" I pressed. More silence. "Do you know my job title? My salary? Anything about my career?" Dad cleared his throat. "You do something with computers? Architecture, or something?" "Solutions architecture. I'm VP of Solutions Architecture for the Pacific Northwest Division of Cascade Tech. I manage a team of 40 people. I make almost $300,000 a year. I was promoted twice in the last 3 years." Mom's eyes widened at the salary figure. I saw the calculation happening behind her eyes. "That's wonderful, honey," she said carefully. "Is it?" Because when I mentioned my first promotion at Sunday dinner 2.5 years ago, nobody even looked up from their phones. "We've been busy, Maya. You know how it is with family, right? Too busy to acknowledge my career, but not too busy to drive 3 hours when you see I have an expensive loft." "That's not fair," Dad said. "What's not fair is showing up unannounced after months of barely speaking to me. What do you actually want?" They exchanged a look. Mom set the cake down on a lobby chair. Derek is having some trouble with his business, Dad said finally. Tarayat Wasi invested everything in this new venture. A subscription box service for craft supplies. It's actually a great idea, but he needs some capital to get through the launch phase. How much? $45,000. I laughed. Actually laughed. You want me to give Derek $45,000? Not give loan. He'll pay you back once the business takes off. Like he paid back the $8,000 I loaned him for the beer delivery service? Or the $3,500 for the food truck? Or the $12,000 for the dropshipping business? Mom looked uncomfortable. You kept track. Of course I kept track. That's $23,500 he's never repaid. And now you want another $45,000, $45 this time is different, Dad insisted. He has a real business plan. He always has a real business plan. And it always fails. Because Derek doesn't want to work. He wants to be handed success. That's cruel. Maya? No. What's cruel is ignoring me for years and then showing up demanding money the second you realize I have some. We're not demanding, Mom said. We're asking. This is what family does. Family helps each other. I stared at her. When have you ever helped me? We raised you. We gave you a home. You gave Gabriella a home. You gave Derek endless chances. I was just there, the responsible one who didn't need anything because I figured it out myself. You're being dramatic. Am I? Name one time you came to something important to me. One career milestone you celebrated, one achievement you acknowledged. They were silent. You can't, can you? Because you never paid attention. I was invisible unless you needed something from me. Maya, we love you, Mom said, her voice breaking slightly. No. You love what I can provide. There's a difference. I picked up the cake carrier and handed it back to Mom. You should go. We drove 3 hours, Dad said. And you can drive 3 hours back. I didn't invite you here. I don't owe you my money, and I don't owe you access to my life. So you're choosing money over family? Mom's voice turned sharp. I'm choosing myself over people who only see me as a resource. I turned and walked toward the elevator. Behind me, I heard Mom say something else, but the elevator doors closed before I could make out the words. My hands were shaking as I rode up to my floor. Inside my loft, I sat on my couch and called Patricia. They wanted $45,000 for Derek's latest business venture, I said. Of course they did. I said no. I told them to leave. Good. My mom said, I'm choosing money over family. Classic guilt manipulation. You're choosing boundaries over exploitation. There's a difference. I looked out the windows at the city, at the life I'd built. Without them, they never even asked to see the loft. They just stood in the lobby and asked for money. Because that's all they came for. Maya, the loft was just the trigger. They saw evidence of your wealth and immediately thought about how they could access it. I feel like I should feel worse about saying no. Do you feel bad? I thought about it. No. I feel ... clear. That's because you did the right thing. You protected yourself. After we hung up, I made tea and sat by the windows. My phone kept buzzing texts from Mom, Dad, Gabriella, even Derek himself. I turned it to Do Not Disturb and let the city lights calm me. Marcus came over around 8 with Thai food. I told him everything. They asked for $45,000 in a lobby ambush. He shook his head. That's bold, even for difficult families. Part of me can't believe it. Part of me expected exactly this. What are you going to do? Nothing. I'm done. He squeezed my hand. Your boundaries are valid, Maya. You don't owe them anything. We ate pad thai and watched the ferries cross the dark water. For the first time in days, I felt peaceful. The messages escalated over the following week. Mom started with gentle guilt. I didn't raise you to be so selfish. We're family. When you were little and needed help, we were always there. Then Dad tried logic. This is an investment opportunity. Derek's business plan is solid. You'd actually make money on this. Gabriella went for emotional manipulation. Mom is really hurt. Maya. She cried all night. Is money really more important than your mother's feelings? By day 4, Derek texted directly. I can't believe my own sister won't help me. After everything I've done for you. I almost laughed at that one. What had Derek ever done for me? He'd borrowed my car and returned it on empty. He'd eaten my groceries when he visited. He'd asked me to proofread his failed business plans. That was the extent of his siblingship. On day 6, Mom called 12 times. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail. Your father isn't well, Maya. The stress of Derek's situation is affecting his health. I hope you can live with yourself if something happens to him. The health scare card. Right on schedule. Patricia had warned me about this. They'll cycle through every manipulation technique. Guilt, anger, fear, false emergencies. Stand firm. On day 7, exactly 1 week after their ambush in my lobby, I received an email from Derek. The subject line. Business proposal. Time sensitive. I deleted it without opening. That same day Gabriella posted on Facebook. Some people forget where they came from when they get a little success. Money changes people. She didn't tag me, but the comments made it clear who she meant. Several family members chimed in with their own vague posts about forgetting your roots and family values. I texted Patricia a screenshot. She replied, public shaming phase. Let them dig their own hole. I didn't engage. I didn't defend myself. I just watched the pattern unfold exactly as she'd predicted. On day 9, Mom texted, fine. If you won't help your brother, at least talk to him. He's your family. I responded for the first time since the lobby confrontation. I am done being the family ATM. Derek needs to learn to support himself. I'm not giving him money. Mom, you don't need all that space anyway. You could sell the loft and help your brother and buy something smaller for yourself. You'd still have plenty. I stared at that message for a long time. She actually suggested I sell my home to fund Derek's failing business venture. Me, no. Boundaries aren't negotiable. Mom, we'll see about that. I showed Marcus that night. He read through the whole text chain with a deepening frown. We'll see about that? That sounds like a threat. She's probably just angry. Maya, these people drove 3 hours to ambush you for money. They're publicly shaming you on social media. Your mom is suggesting you sell your home. This is beyond just angry. A was right. I called Patricia. Document everything. She said immediately. Screenshots, save the emails, keep records of every interaction. If they escalate further, you may need it. You think they'll escalate more. I think desperate people do desperate things, and your family is used to you being compliant. You're disrupting their pattern. They won't like it. 2 weeks after the Instagram post, my building's front desk called, Ms. Martinez. There's a woman here claiming to be your mother. She doesn't have a visitor code, but she's insisting we let her up. Don't let her up. I haven't authorized any visitors. She's saying it's an emergency, that your father is in the hospital, and she needs to tell you in person. My heart jumped despite myself. Can you put her on the phone? Mom's voice came through. Maya, you need to listen to me. Your father collapsed this morning. He's at Virginia Mason. I drove straight here to tell you. Why didn't you call? You're not answering your phone. I checked. I had it on Do Not Disturb, but emergency contacts could still get through. Mom was an emergency contact. If she'd actually called, it would have rung. What hospital did you say? A pause. Virginia Mason. Which campus? Another pause. The main one. I opened the hospital's website on my laptop. What department? Maya. Just let me come up. We need to talk about this in person. If Dad is actually in the hospital, you'd be there, not at my building. What department is he in? Silence. Mom, is Dad actually in the hospital? He could be. The stress you're causing. I hung up. My hands were shaking again, but this time with anger, not anxiety. She'd faked an emergency to get into my building. I called the front desk back. My mother is lying. My father is not in the hospital. She's not welcome here. Please ask her to leave. Understood, Ms. Martinez. Should we call security if she refuses? Yes. I sat on my couch, breathing deeply. Marcus was at work, but I texted him. My mom just faked a medical emergency to try to get into my building. His response was immediate. I'm calling you on my break in 10 minutes. When he called, I was still trying to process it. She said my dad collapsed. She was so convincing. That's because she's practiced. Maya, this is abusive behavior. You know that, right? I did know. Intellectually, I'd known for a long time that my family's treatment of me wasn't normal. But having someone else say it out loud made it real in a different way. I can't believe she'd use something like that. People who feel entitled to your resources will do anything to access them. She's shown you who she is. Believe her. That evening, I got a text from Gabriella. Mom is devastated that you called security on her. She just wanted to see you. This is out of control, Maya. I didn't respond. Derek texted. You're tearing this family apart over money. Congratulations. I blocked his number. Aunt Carmen called. I let it go to voicemail. Maya, I don't know what's going on with you, but your mother is heartbroken. Whatever your difference is family. Call your mother back. I deleted the voicemail. The boundary was drawn. Primera vez done. 3 weeks after the Instagram post, I was in a meeting with a major potential client when my assistant knocked on the conference room door. I'm so sorry to interrupt, but there's a situation you need to know about. I excused myself and stepped outside. Your brother is in the lobby, she said quietly. Building security called. He's demanding to see you and he's getting loud. I closed my eyes. Call the police if he doesn't leave voluntarily. Your call, but he's making a scene. Something about family betrayal and you abandoning your responsibilities. Patricia was in the meeting with me. She followed me out. Derek's here, I told her. Do you want me to handle it? No, I'll do it, but come with me. We took the elevator down together. Through the lobby windows, I could see Derek pacing, gesturing emphatically at the security guard. He looked disheveled, angry. When he saw me, his face lit up with vindication. Finally, they said you were in meetings. Too important for your own brother now. Derek, you need to leave. Not until you listen to me. My business is failing because you won't help. You have all this money and you won't give me one loan. After everything. What? What have you done for me? Derek, I'm your brother. That's not an accomplishment. That's an accident of birth. What have you actually done to deserve $45,000 of my money? He looked genuinely confused by the question. We're family, that's how it works. No. That's how you've made it work. You fail. The family bails you out. You start over, you fail again, and everyone pretends the pattern doesn't exist. This time is different. You've said that about every business. The beer delivery, the food truck, the dropship, the print-and-demand t-shirts. All of them were going to be different. All of them failed within a year. Patricia stepped forward. Mr. Martinez, I'm Patricia Chun, Maya's mentor and colleague. I'm going to say this once. You're disrupting a place of business. If you don't leave immediately, we'll have you escorted out and file a restraining order. Derek's eyes widened. Who the hell are you? Someone who actually supports Maya instead of exploiting her? Leave. Now. A security guard moved closer. Derek looked between all of us, his face reddening. You'll regret this, Maya. When you need family, we won't be there. You've never been there, I said quietly. That's the point. He left, but not before shouting loud enough for half the lobby to hear. You read dead to me. I stood there for a moment, watching him storm out to the street. Patricia put a hand on my shoulder. You okay? Yeah, I said, surprised to find it was true. I'm okay. We went back upstairs. The client meeting resumed. I landed the Aconta $22 million contract over 3 years. That night, Marcus came over and I told him about Derek's lobby performance. "That's it," he said. "We're changing your emergency contacts. I'm your emergency contact now, not them." "You want to be my emergency contact?" "Maya, I love you. We've been together almost a year. I want to be the person who shows up when you need someone, not the people who only show up when they need something." It was the first time he'd said he loved me. I kissed him. "I love you too." We spent the evening updating my emergency contacts on every account I had. Marcus for medical emergencies, Patricia for professional crises, my friend Jenna for everything else. The Martinez family was completely removed from every list. It felt like shedding weight I didn't know I'd been carrying. 1 month after the Instagram post, I received a letter, not an email, not a text, an actual physical letter, forwarded from my old address to my current one. It was from my mother, written in her careful cursive on pale blue stationery. "Dear Maya, I've been thinking a lot about our relationship and I realize we may have made some mistakes. Your father and I love you very much, but we may not have shown it in the ways you needed. I'm writing to ask if we can start over, have a conversation, just the two of us, about how to move forward as a family. Also, I want you to know that Derek's business has failed. He lost everything and had to move back home. He's devastated. I'm not asking you to give him money, but perhaps you could talk to him. Help him understand what he did wrong. You're so successful, and he could really use your guidance. Please, think about it. Love. Mom." I read it 3 times, analyzing each sentence. The first paragraph was an almost apology. "May have made some mistakes, instead of we treated you terribly. May not have shown it in the ways you needed, instead of we ignored you for decades." The second paragraph was setting up for the real ask. And there it was in the third paragraph. Derek's business failed like I'd predicted and now they wanted me to fix him. Not with money this time, but with my time, my expertise, my emotional labor. I showed it to Patricia over coffee the next morning. She read it silently, then set it down. "Do you want my professional analysis or my personal opinion?" "Both." Professionally, this is a classic manipulation pattern, false contrition followed by the real ask. She's trying a gentler approach because aggression failed. And personally, your mother is incapable of seeing you as a person. You're a tool to her. She'll never change because she doesn't think she needs to. She's not sorry. She's strategic. I nodded slowly. I'd known that before I asked, but hearing Patricia confirm it made the decision easier. I didn't respond to the letter. Instead, I did something I'd been thinking about for weeks. I contacted a therapist who specialized in families. Her name was Dr. Sarah Kim, and she had a 3-week wait for new patients. "I'm done with my family," I told her in our first session. "I just need help being okay with that." "Tell me about them," she said. I did. I told her about the science fair ribbon no one cared about, the graduations no one attended, the promotions no one acknowledged, the pattern of Derek's failures and my funding, the Instagram post that triggered everything, the lobby ambush, the fake emergency, Derek's scene at my office. Dr. Kim took notes and listened. "You know what I'm not hearing?" she said finally. "What?" "What?" "Regret. You keep saying you need help being okay with cutting them off. But Maya, you already are okay with it. You're here because you think you should feel guilty, but you don't. And that's confusing you." She was right. I don't miss them, I admitted. I feel lighter without them. Is that double run? Is it wrong to feel relief when abuse stops? I sat with that. It was abuse. Emotional neglect is a form of abuse. You were systematically ignored, dismissed, and exploited. You were only valued for what you could provide. That's abuse. What? Hearing her say it so plainly, so clinically, cracked something open in me. I cried for the first time since this whole thing started. Not sad tears. Release tears. "I spent 30 years trying to earn their attention," I said. "And now you're spending your energy on people who actually see you? That's growth." Over the next few weeks, Dr. Kim helped me understand that choosing myself wasn't selfish. That boundaries weren't punishment. That family was supposed to be mutual support, not one-way extraction. I stopped checking to see if my family had texted. I stopped wondering if I was being too harsh. I stopped carrying their guilt. I was done. 6 months later, I stood in my loft wearing a navy blue dress, looking out at Elliott Bay sparkling in the June sunshine. Marcus came up behind me and wrapped his arms around my waist. "You look beautiful," he said. "I'm nervous." "It's just Patricia and a few friends." Low-key. Remember? Today was my 31st birthday. For the first time in my life, I was celebrating it exactly how I wanted. With people who actually cared about me. Patricia arrived first, bringing an expensive bottle of champagne and a card that made me laugh. Marcus's best friend came with his wife, my friend Jenna from my book club, my colleague Alex and his partner. 8 people total, all of them chosen family. No one from the Martinez family was invited. No one from the Martinez family even knew it was my birthday. We ate catered tapas on my balcony. We drank champagne and told stories. Patricia gave a toast to Maya, who had the courage to choose herself. Everyone raised their glasses. Later, when it was just Marcus and me, we sat on the couch watching the city lights. "Happy?" he asked. "Yeah," I said, and I meant it. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Maya, this is your cousin Rachel. I know you've cut off contact with the family, but I wanted you to know that your parents are really struggling financially. They're going to lose the house. I think they were depending on Derek to contribute, and obviously that didn't work out. Anyway, I'm not asking you to do anything. Just thought you should know." I stared at the message. Marcus read over my shoulder. "Were you covering their mortgage?" "Not the whole thing, but I was sending them $1,500 a month for expenses." I stopped when they ambushed me in the lobby. "They built their budget assuming you'd fund them forever." I thought about my parents' house, the 4-bedroom in Tacoma they'd bought 20 years ago, the house where Gabriella's wedding photos had been taken in the backyard, the house where Derek had lived rent-free on and off for a decade, the house I'd helped pay for without realizing that's what I was doing. $1,500 a month. For how long? Marcus asked. I did the math. 5 years. Maybe 6. That's over $100,000. Maya. I felt dizzy. I'd been sending them money for so long it had become automatic. I never questioned it because they'd always said they were having a tight month or there was an unexpected expense. I never knew they'd built me into their budget as a permanent income stream. "They'll lose the house because I stopped funding their lifestyle," I said slowly. "No. They'll lose the house because they made financial decisions assuming they could exploit you forever. That's not your fault." I looked at Rachel's text again. "I'm not asking you to do anything. Just thought you should know." But she was asking. She was setting up the guilt. The implication that I could prevent this if I wanted to, that their foreclosure would be my fault. I deleted the message. "I'm not responding, Ramera," told Marcus. "Good. They're going to lose their house. They made their choices. You've made yours. Your choice is to have boundaries. That's healthy." I leaned against him, looking out at my loft, my home. The space I'd created for myself, paid for with money I earned, through work they'd never acknowledged. "I choose myself," I said quietly. "I know you do," Marcus said. "That's why I love you." 9 months after the Instagram post that changed everything, I got an email from Derek. Subject: "I'm sorry I almost deleted it. But curiosity won. Maya. I've been in therapy for 3 months now. Mom and Dad suggested it after my business failed and I moved back home. The therapist has helped me understand a lot of things about myself and our family. I realize I've used you, for money, for support, for bailouts. I never appreciated how hard you worked or what you accomplished. I just saw you as someone who had resources I could access. I'm not asking for anything. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. You are right about all of it. I need to build my own life instead of expecting everyone else to fund my failures. Got a job. Just a basic warehouse position, but it is honest work and I am learning what it means to actually earn something instead of asking for handouts. I don't expect you to forgive me or want a relationship. I just wanted you to know that I see it now. I see what I did. Derek, I read it twice. It sounded sincere. It also sounded like something a therapist might have encouraged him to write as part of his own healing process. Not necessarily because he expected a response. I showed it to Dr. Kim in our session that week. How does it make you feel? She asked. Skeptical, but also, I don't know. Like maybe he's actually learning something? Do you want to respond? I don't know. Part of me wants to believe people can change. They can. But change takes time to prove itself. An apology is words. Changed behavior is evidence. She was right. Derek could be genuinely sorry and still be a year away from being someone I'd trust. An apology didn't erase decades of exploitation. I saved the email but didn't respond. 3 weeks later, I got a message from Gabriella. Hey, I heard Derek emailed you. I wanted to reach out too. I'm getting married in October, and I'd really like you to be there. I know things have been difficult, but you're my sister. It would mean a lot. I stared at the message. Gabriella's wedding, the event that would undoubtedly be the family gathering of the year, the place where everyone would have opinions about my absence or presence. No pressure, Gabriella added. Just think about it. I showed Marcus. Do you want to go? He asked. No. But I feel like I should want to go. Lauget, that's different from actually wanting to go. She's my sister. She's also someone who publicly shamed you on Facebook and called you selfish for having boundaries. True. Gabriella had participated in the pylon. She'd never apologized for that. This invitation wasn't an apology. It was just a invitation. I talked to Dr. Kim about it. What would going to the wedding cost you? She asked. Money for a gift. Time. Emotional energy dealing with my parents and everyone who will have opinions about the last 9 months. And what would you gain? I thought about it. I guess I'd prove I'm the bigger person. To who? To them. To myself. To myself? Maya, you don't need to prove anything. You've already proven you can set boundaries and maintain them. Going to a wedding to show you not that bad is still making decisions based on their judgment of you. She was right again. I responded to Gabriella. I appreciate the invitation, but I won't be attending. I wish you happiness in your marriage. Gabriella didn't respond. I heard through Rachel later that Gabriella was hurt. That mom cried. That dad said I was holding grudges. I didn't engage with any of it. 1 year after the Instagram post, Marcus and I hosted Thanksgiving in my loft. We invited Patricia and her husband, Marcus's parents, Jenna and her boyfriend, Alex, and his partner. My therapist had suggested I create new traditions, and this felt right. I cooked for 2 days turkey, stuffing, 3 kinds of pie, roasted vegetables, cranberry sauce from scratch. Marcus made his family's traditional tamales. Patricia brought wine. Everyone brought sides. We ate at my dining table, extended to its full length, overlooking the city as the sun set. We went around the table saying what we were grateful for. When it was my turn, I looked around at these people who'd shown up for me, who'd supported my boundaries, who'd celebrated my success, and validated my choices. I'm grateful for chosen family, I said. For people who see me. Patricia raised her glass. We see you, Maya. We always have. After dinner, Marcus's mom pulled me aside. Thank you for including us. This was lovely. Thank you for coming. Marcus told us a little about your family situation. I just want you to know you're part of our family now. You always have a place with us. I hugged her, feeling tears prick my eyes. Later, after everyone left and Marcus and I were cleaning up, my phone buzzed. Mom, I hope you're having a nice Thanksgiving. We miss you. That was it. No apology, no acknowledgement of what had happened. Just we miss you, as if I'd simply been too busy to visit for a year. I showed Marcus. You going to respond? No. I deleted the message and finished loading the dishwasher. The next morning, I woke up in my loft, in my king-sized bed, with a view of the water, next to someone who loved me for who I was, not what I could provide. I thought about my life. The career I'd built, the home I owned, the investments I'd made, the chosen family I'd created. I thought about the Martinez family and what I'd lost by setting boundaries. I'd lost Sunday dinners where I was ignored. I'd lost being the family ATM. I'd lost the weight of unreciprocated obligation. I'd lost the constant hope that maybe this time they'd see me. What I'd gained was worth infinitely more. I gained peace. I gained self-respect. I gained a life built on my terms. I gained people who actually showed up. My phone buzzed again. Marcus, from the kitchen, coffee's ready. Also, I'm making pancakes. Also, I love you. I smiled. This was family, tease was home, and I was done apologizing for choosing it.